Hello friends, this video on Organic Chemistry Basics Part 43 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Let's talk about distillation concept. What is distillation? In distillation you generally heat something and you try to purify, right? But the logic is how you are able to purify a substance using distillation. Let's understand the concept behind distillation. See, if I have a beaker and in that I have some compound which has, let's suppose, my green ones are my organic compound and the red ones are my impurities. So if you see, it's almost 50-50. I have 50% impure compound now. So now according to Raoult's law, actually, if you see the partial pressure here, if you heat this, what will happen is, if you heat this, you'll find steam, right? You find a gas here, pressure here. And now if you see, the composition is different. Here if you see, you'll find more composition of the green ones and the less composition of red ones. Why? Because the green ones boils easily, the green ones evaporates easily, right? So the partial pressure, if you see, if you talk about total pressure in this zone here, right, the total pressure by the gas, the partial pressure by the green one is more, correct? And the partial pressure by Raoult law is nothing but by compound A is nothing but moles of compound A into total pressure. Now, since what I'm trying to say is there are some compound which boils easily, right? So in that case, the compound A here in this case boils easily. So here you will find more moles of A and less moles of B. If you want to go by the Raoult's law also, if you see total pressure here, if we talk about partial pressure by A is more and partial pressure by B is less, right? Because you have more moles of A. It's the right logic, right? It says that partial pressure of A will be moles of A in total pressure. This is constant. That means with that also, if you just assume that, since you don't even see this moles now, right? You just see that I have A which evaporates easily, B which evaporates less. So the pressure will be created here. So here we'll have more contribution from A and less from B, right? So this guy will be more. If this guy is more and PB is less, that means number of moles of A is more. That means A is more. So you have more concentration of A. So that means if you see here, you have 50-50% contribution of or composition of organic compounds and impurity. Here if you see, the trend has changed, right? Here almost if you see, this is 66%, correct? And this is almost 33%. So I got a pure one. Sorry, yeah. I got a pure one. This is little pure, right? So this is little pure. I can't 100% pure. This is little pure organic compound. So if you just take this and cool it down, you'll get little pure organic compound. You again do it, you'll get more pure. You again do it, you get more pure, right? And that is the logic behind distillation concept. So if you see, distillation is effective only when you have liquids whose boiling point differ greatly. Or if you have, for example, if you want to purify water and water has some mud in this, right, or dust in this. So you just have water, you just boil it, what will happen? Here you will get water because this is volatile, right? And this is non-volatile will be here only. So here you will, in one shot you will get pure water. That is the easiest way of distillation, right? So you have some mud here, you heat it, you get water here, but the mud won't evaporate, right? So these are non-volatile, right? So it won't evaporate. So you will get pure water in one shot. But there are scenarios where both the compounds are volatile and you want to separate using distillation. So this is my easy distillation actually, or basic distillation. I should have started with this only, right? This is my easy distillation. Here you have a volatile and non-volatile compound. You just heat it, the volatile will be up and you can just collect it, cool it down, you will get the pure volatile compound, non-volatile remains here. But what if you have two things, the organic compound and the impurity both are volatile, so in that, but their boiling point is different. So in this case, when you heat it, you get more concentration of pure and less concentration of impurity, right? This is impurity, this is less. And with this, so you see it was 50% pure this becomes almost 70% pure. We just do it again, it will become 90%, 100%. That is the way of or logic behind distillation. Correct. So let's start with the process of distillation. This is the apparatus used here. So here you heat it, and here you have a flask, the temperature thermometer. Here you have fractionating column. I'll discuss about this fractionating column when I talk about fractional distillation actually. So, or let me discuss a little bit. So when you heat this, what happens is, for example, this is 50% pure and 50% impurity. Correct. Now when you heat this, since in this case the pure compound has a lower boiling point, and you'll find here, for example, here if you find 70% pure compound and 30% impure compound. So what this guy will do is, this fractionating column, it will block the way, right? So with that, what will happen is, this will cool down a little bit. So now this guy will cool down, and now what will happen is, since the impurity will cool down easily, so impurity will come down here. But this guy will not cool down easily, the purity one. So it will not cool down, it will go up. So with this, if you go up, right, almost here if you see, you will have 90% purity and 10% impurity. So fractionating column is a magical thing which does repeated distillation actually. Correct. So what it is doing is, example I'll just show. This is my fractionating column, that's it, right? This is restricting movement. So from here, let's suppose I am starting with 70% pure and 30% impure. Correct. Now the moment it touch here, it blocks this way and it cools down. It cools down. So this impurity will cool down further and impurity will come down. So in this, if you see in this area, you'll have, let's suppose, 80% of pure and 20% impurity. Again, this will be blocked, right? Again, this will block, and now in this again some impurity will come down. So here it will see 90% pure and 10% impurity. So with this fractionating column actually makes things more and more pure. So you have a little bit of fractionating column. So what happens is, you heat it, 50% become 90%. Now if you see here, you get 90%, almost 90% pure organic compound. And you can again do it to make 100%. You just keep doing the same thing again and again. You get more and more pure organic compound. Here you have some water inlet. So to cool the gas, because I have a gas, right? I want to make it liquid, so to cool it. So for that, I pass a water, cold water actually. This cold water will make this gas liquid, and you will collect this liquid in this beaker. So with this, you get a pure organic compound. Correct. So for example, I told this is used to remove salt from seawater. So pretty easy. Salt is not volatile at all. So salt will be here only and seawater will be here. Right. To prepare high quality alcohol also you can keep on doing distillation. And if you see iodine, camphor, these are my sublimable substance, right? For these I generally don't use distillation. I use sublimation. Correct. So a particular purification method is used only for particular type of compounds. Let's start with distillation under reduced pressure. See, there are substances whose boiling point and point of decomposition is same. For example, I have glycerol. Right, it boils at 563 Kelvin and also it decomposes. It decomposes at 563 Kelvin. So what will happen? So if you heat this glycerol to 573, because for distillation I need to boil it, right? And if I heat this glycerol to 563 Kelvin, it will decompose. So there is, and as I told in all these purification technique, I am not involving any chemical reaction. I am not decomposing anything, or I am not reacting with something, right? So what should we do here? So what we do here is we have something called distillation under reduced pressure. So what we do is, with reducing the pressure, we reduce the boiling point. So now what, in this case, the extra thing is we just attach a pump. So with this pump, we have reduced the pressure here. Here we have low pressure. Correct? So since it is low pressure here, the organic compound boils easily. So this glycerol, which was supposed to boil at 563 Kelvin, now it boils at 463 Kelvin only. So if I maintain a temperature of, let's suppose, 500 Kelvin here, the glycerol will boil, plus it won't decompose. So I have got win-win situation. Correct? See, the problem was at 563 Kelvin, if I heat the glycerol, it will decompose. It will boil, it will decompose. But I wanted to reduce the boiling point. So I have reduced the pressure. on reduction of the pressure, the boiling point reduced to 463 Kelvin, right? So now at 463 Kelvin, this guy will boil, but it won't decompose. So it won't decompose. So I'll get my glycerol distilled very easily. Same process. I have fractionating column, right? It will increase the purity, and finally I get pure glycerol here. So it's same as distillation. The only thing is the pressure is reduced just to make sure that the boiling point is reduced, because there are some cases where the boiling point and decomposition point is same. Also, some substance where the boiling point is very high and it's very difficult to achieve the boiling point. So we use this reduced pressure technique where we reduce the boiling point. It also saves money actually, because for example, if you want to distill something and that needs, let's suppose that doesn't decompose at 600 Kelvin, but that needs 600 Kelvin to purify, to boil. So it costs huge money, right? Huge coal to get this temperature if you're doing it at a higher scale, industrial scale. So you use some reduced pressure technique where you reduce the 600 to, let's suppose, 400 Kelvin. So to maintain this 400 Kelvin, it costs less, right? So this is widely used technique in industries where you want to sometimes save cost, or sometimes technically it is not feasible because for a given organic compound, the decomposition point and the boiling point is same. So in all the scenarios, we generally use distillation under reduced pressure. The third is steam distillation. So what is steam distillation? If you see here, so this removes non-volatile impurity where my substance, the substance to purify is volatile in steam. So if you see, this is my condition here. So for example, aniline. Aniline is what? Aniline, when you heat this in steam, for example, this pink one are my aniline here. Correct? I want to purify aniline. So what we do is, we do this chamber with water. We heat this, we get steam from here. Now with this also is heated a little bit. Now with this steam, now this aniline is insoluble in water, but it is soluble in steam. It is volatile in steam. So this steam will kick away this aniline and will take to this chamber. So if you see, steam, there is steam here, the steam will kick away this aniline. So what will happen is, whatever aniline it had in this chamber, chamber A, let's suppose this is chamber B, right, will go out to chamber B. And all this green are my impurities, because this case, these impurities are something which are not volatile in steam. They are not volatile. Even if we heat, it won't go. For example, iron dust or something, right? There can be so many non-volatile impurities. So here, there are substance, for example, aniline, which are insoluble in water. Please note, it is not soluble in water. So if you see here, you'll get water and aniline. Since they are not soluble, you can easily separate them, right? Because they are insoluble. But in this case, there was an aniline with some impurities, and these impurities were non-volatile, right? And since it is insoluble in water, I can just distill it. So what I'm doing is I'm using steam distillation. I'm passing the steam from here. Now this guy is volatile, the aniline is volatile in steam. So with the steam, this aniline is going in this beaker, right? So with the steam from here, the aniline is also going in this, because this is my flow of steam, right? So with this steam, my aniline is also going in this beaker B. So now I have steam and aniline in this beaker. Steam is nothing but water and aniline in this beaker. But now water and aniline are immiscible, not soluble, so you can easily separate them. And my impurity will be in beaker A. This is the step or concept for steam distillation. Let's take some numerical on this. The question is, explain why organic compound vaporize at low temperature below its boiling point in steam distillation. So if you see in the steam distillation, we are not boiling the compound. For example, we never boiled the compound. The compound we had was actually volatile in steam. This was the property, for example, aniline we took, right? So we had the steam and this compound was volatile in steam. So it got vaporized below its boiling point. We never boiled the aniline, right? We passed the steam, and this aniline was volatile in steam, and that was the crux behind the steam distillation, and we got pure aniline. Thank you. Visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos,
try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thanks once again.